everybody, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I have another squishy DIY for you, and this one is on Pugsheen. Now, as you all know, I love Pugsheen, and when I seen the little pug version I just couldn't resist but actually make a DIY squishy. So to start off with, I took a block of memory foam, and I always say this, but I got this from eBay, and all I do is go on eBay and just type in memory foam cut to size, and then I just buy a piece. You can also buy like a memory foam cushion, a pillow, those neck pillow things that you get for like travel, and just cut them up if you can't find it any online. So I just drew out a rough kind of shape of Pugsheen, and then from the side view I just cut out all of that and just cut off all the excess around that side view shape. This is how I always start off my 3D squishies, as it really helps to get like the sizing right. So as you can see here, I cut off all the excess from the side view, and then I went ahead and rounded it out as like from the top to make it into that 3D shape. I also cut a line between like the head and the body part so that I was able to shape them kind of separately, so it looked like the head was actually a head instead of it all being one thing. So yeah, like I said, I just rounded it all from just looking down from the very top and rounding it all out into the actual shape that I thought Pugsheen would be. I basically just based it off of Pughsheen's body, as I know Pughsheen's body is very rounded and very chubby. So yeah, I just rounded out all the edges and smoothed it out as I went along. Next, taking an off-cut piece of memory foam, I just rounded this out so it was a nice kind of half semi-circle-y type shape, and then I rounded out one of the ends. This was to make the ears. I made two of these in total, and I did make them a little bit too long and cut them down, but basically once you have these two shapes you'll just want to like try them on Pugsheen and just make sure that they're the right length. As you can see, mine kind of looked like a little bunny rabbit, so I just went ahead and trimmed them down until I was happy with the size of when they are folded over. To attach them I used hot glue. Like I usually say, I only use one kind of little blob of hot glue per bit that I'm sticking on, and this is so I don't get any hard lumps. Some people don't like using hot glue, and that's absolutely fine. You can use fabric glue instead. I'm just way too impatient and like to use hot glue on a low heat setting with a tiny little dollop each time to avoid any issues and for a quick kind of sticking down time. To make the tail, I then took another off-cut piece of foam and I just drew out the side profile of the tail that I wanted it to look like from the front, and I just cut off all the excess around that shape again. As you can see, once I cut out the indent, I just fold it around and cut that bit out. And then from the side, this is just how I do it, I cut off the excess again and then just shaped it out as like a 3D tail. I find getting the 2D shape from the side profile like first a lot easier when it comes to making it a shape 3D, as you can kind of see the size and what you're kind of working with. You'll just want to smooth this out, and then again you'll want to try it onto Pugsheen's body to make sure it's the right size and it's trimmed down, and you just want to make any adjustments that you will want to make before sticking it on. Once happy, I just went in with the hot glue again, put one little like blob of hot glue on there and just stuck it onto Pugsheen's butt. Next, to make the little legs, I just took a very small bit of memory foam and I just cut it into a like elongated rectangle, and then I smoothed it out to make it into a cylinder, and then smoothed out one of the ends to make it nice and round. What I then did was trimmed off the top to make the legs nice and short, and I made 4 of these in total. Once all 4 of the feet were fully cut out, I then took tiny blobs of hot glue and just stuck them in place on Pugsheen's body. Now I put 2 obviously at the front at the side profile that I liked, and then just put another 2 directly behind so that Pugsheen obviously had 4 little legs. To paint Pugsheen, I just mixed up a light beigey kind of sandy colour fabric paint, and I just spread this all over Pugsheen's body. I covered the whole entire thing in this, including the legs, the ears, the tail, everything I covered in this one colour, and I put on a really thick layer of this, and I actually waited for that layer to dry and then painted on another layer afterwards. And I actually did that at night time, so I didn't film it, but I left this to dry like all day for about 12 hours, then did my second coat and left it to dry overnight, and yeah, it was nice and kind of dry. Don't know what else to say there. Anyway, taking a nice burnt coloured brown, I just painted on the ears and made them the same colour as Pugsheen was in the picture. And to be honest, this colour does darken up a little bit once drying, because I've mixed this up with a little bit of PVA glue in, and I find when I add PVA glue to puffy paints, it does like darken up when it dries. So yeah, that's just something to bear in mind if you are going to mix like your own paint up. I will be doing a full video on how I make like my puffy paint mixtures and how to make paint go further and how to make squishies go slow rising soon. So yeah, if you want to see that, just hang around on my channel, click that subscribe button if you haven't already, and I will be posting one of those like tips videos very soon. So once I had painted the first ear, I just moved on and painted the second ear off camera, so I didn't take up too much of your time. And I didn't actually mention this, but I did do it with a tiny little paintbrush that I got from the model painting section in Hobbycraft. What I then did was painted on Pugsheen's little snout, and I did this with the same colour that I used on the ears, and then taking an even darker, more kind of muted brown, I just painted on Pugsheen's eyes. This again came out a little bit lighter when wet, and simply is because I've got some PVA glue mixed into these shades, so that when it dries, it will dry a bit darker. Once the nose and the eyes were completely dry, I then went in with the same colour that I used on the eyes and just outlined the kind of snout, and then I painted on the nose and the mouth inside of that. I did go over the eyes a little bit to add a little bit more dimension. Again, this wasn't really needed, but I just felt like, because I don't have so much of this paint left over, I wanted to make them super defined. Now, it is super hard to see the colour on camera, like where I'm painted on the nose and stuff, but like I said, this colour does darken up once it dries, so it will be easier to see once it has dried. So once all the paint was fully dry, Pugsheen the squishy was then complete. Now I am super happy with how this has turned out. I feel like it looks so good, and just look at that. It's just so perfect. I am so in love with this squishy. This is one of my favourites that I've made in a long time. I'm really into making memory foam squishies again at the moment, so yeah, I hope you don't mind that. Like I always say, you can get memory foam from eBay, cutting up pillows and that sort of stuff if you can't find it online, and it is available in a lot of places where you don't usually think. You can of course use other sponge. You can use car sponges for this. I've used them in previous tutorials and had pretty much the same effect. So yeah, I'm really happy with how this turned out. It's not the most slow rising of squishies that I've ever made, and that is just because I haven't completely sealed up the air holes inside of the ears, so when you squeeze it you do feel some air kind of squeeze out of those ears. but I'm still really happy with how it turned out, and definitely want to do an actual Pugsheen one to match this now, because I think that would be so cute. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, then please do give it a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!